Alright, for this project you're going to need to have made some decisions before you start doing anything else. So on your organizer, you want to make sure that you have decided, very importantly, whether you're going to be writing your words describing your mentor's impact on you above or below your image. So if I've decided I'm writing mine above, when I go to start gridding my canvas, then I will leave a space at the top for those words to go. So first of all, you should have a portrait printed out that is 9 inches wide by 8 inches tall. Your canvas is intended to be 9 by 12, but if you check it, it's a tiny bit short of 9 inches wide, and it is a tiny bit short of 12 inches tall. So you will be making adjustments. Just make sure you know where you're starting your measurements from. If I'm writing my words at the top and my image is only 8 inches tall, that means I need to leave a 4-inch gap at the top where my words will go. So with 0 at the top, I'm going to go ahead and mark 4, and I'm going to do it a second time over, 4, turn my ruler, and draw a nice straight line right across my canvas. Now, this logic could work whether you're leaving your words at the top or whether you're leaving your words at the bottom. You need to have a 9-inch wide by 8-inch tall section where your person goes. But I wanted mine at the top. Then I'm going to go ahead and draw my grid on my canvas first, and so that I know that I'm doing it right. And I can always erase because it'll just get painted over. But I don't want to mess up my printed portrait because I don't want to have to reprint it 100,000 times. So 1-inch grid we've done before. Measuring from that line, you see that I'm just short of 8. So I'm going to make sure that my small box is at the bottom every single time. Mark at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Slide my ruler to the other side of the canvas, somewhere on the right. Mark at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And like we practiced before, turn your ruler, turn your canvas, whatever is most comfortable for your hand. Connect the marks all the way across the canvas. Now I need to have vertical lines. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this just so it's more comfortable for my ruler. I'm going to keep my 0 on this edge of my canvas. I'm not going to move it since we know it's a little bit short of 9 inches wide. I'm going to mark it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Do the same thing closer to the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then I'm going to go ahead and connect those with a nice straight line as well. So now my canvas is ready. I have my space at the top where my words will go. I'll figure out what that's going to be and how I'm going to write it later. I have the bottom where my grid is ready to draw my picture of my person. But my portrait doesn't have a grid yet. So I needed to have boxes that match what's on my canvas to make it easier to draw. So we're going to use the same logic. You should have these crop marks on the edges. They help you to see when your background is white, as well as sometimes you get this nice gray line around the outside edge. So we're going to do the same thing across the top, and sometimes it's helpful to use the white border because if there's a lot of black ink in a spot, it can be hard to see. Make sure 0 is on the edge. Mark at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You don't need to mark 9. Same at the bottom. Turn your ruler or your paper, whatever is most comfortable. Connect those marks with a nice straight line. You may want to press hard if you're going over a solid black area so that your pencil shows up. So now we have lines that match what's on the canvas. that are vertical. We don't have any horizontal ones. Same concept. Didn't change as a fourth time through. So on one side, make sure 0 is lined up on the edge of the image. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. On the other side, make sure 0 is lined up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Turn your ruler or your paper. So now we have matching. 9 boxes across, 8 boxes down. 9 boxes across, 8 boxes down on the canvas. Everything should look like it matches up just fine. The one thing that is helpful to know before you start drawing is what you're going to do for your background, although that is later in our organizer. So if you're going to do the photo's background, then you're going to need to draw it. If you're going to do anything else, a solid color, ombre, a pattern, a starburst, you don't need to draw anything from your photograph besides your person. So as you get ready to draw your person, what you are doing is drawing the edges of all these gray blobs. I would pick something simple to start with. So in my image I have this simple corner here. I would put your things very close. So if I'm working in these 2 boxes, specifically this one where I have this line, I would go ahead and put it right next door to make it easier. I would follow that line through each box, just like when we practiced gridding already, until I can mark out this black shape. Now when I get to the edge of the face here, it divides. There's a dark gray and a medium gray. You decide how you want to tackle that, but you need to draw the edge of each shape of gray. It's going to look like a paint by number image. That is on purpose. So make sure that whatever you're following, maybe I want to finish up with the edge of the black here so I don't get confused. So 4 boxes over at the bottom. It's going to come up and in, and then angle over. And then maybe I can work on this piece here. The good news is it doesn't have to be perfect, because this filtered version is not super realistic to begin with. It typically comes together well if your drawing is relatively accurate. However, if your drawing is not accurate at all, it's gonna show. So do your best to get each shape carefully marked in, paying close attention to what box you're in until you have the outlines of all of those different blobs of gray marked out. Continue working your way through the entire image until you've copied the outlines of all of these. So I would outline each of these shapes. If it helps you to practice on your paper, practice on your paper. But each of these different shapes, different shades of gray or black or white, have to be drawn in on your canvas. So you have an outline version of this on here that you can then go ahead and add paint to.